After they made a big-time trade for Rudy Gobert, a lot of people, including myself, expected the Minnesota Timberwolves to be one of the best teams in the NBA. But, you know, as I record this video halfway through the season, they've been extremely mid to say the least. And as I record, they actually are the 9th seed. So why exactly, though, are the Timberwolves such a mid team when everyone expected them to be a top 3 to 5 seed in the Western Conference? Well, let's go ahead and break it down in today's video. But before we do get started, hit that like button if you guys end up enjoying this, since it really does help out the channel. And subscribe if you guys are new and you guys do enjoy this type of content, so you don't miss out on any new videos. But yeah, without further ado, let's go ahead and let's get this video started. Now let's talk about the elephant in the room here, Mr. Rudy Gobert. The Timberwolves gave up a lot to get him, to say the least. They gave up several key role players like Patrick Beverley, Jared Vanderbilt, Malik Beasley, Walker Kessler, who's ended up having a really good rookie season, and of course, a lot of draft picks, like unprotected first-round picks and pick swaps. Point is, they gave up a lot to acquire him, and it's safe to say, right now, it's not working out for Minnesota at all. The Timberwolves traded for Rudy Gobert to really improve their defense, as while their defense definitely was not that bad last year in 2022. In fact, you know, it was one of the big talking points with them. Their defense, I mean, it really wasn't horrible last year, but they wanted to get even better on that side of the floor, so that's why they traded for Rudy. But he has had a negative effect on the team, and that's mostly due to what he does to your squad offensively. The Timberwolves already had a big man in Karl-Anthony Towns. However, a lot of people thought that Cat and Rudy could work because Karl-Anthony Towns, if we're being quite honest, he's one of the best shooting big men of all time. And because of that, people thought spacing wouldn't be such an issue. But, you know, Rudy Gobert, of course, he can't stretch the floor, and his inability to space the floor has really been harming this team. I mean, because because he can't space the floor, it makes driving to the rim a whole lot more difficult. Anytime someone were to drive into the paint, Rudy's defender is always there, and they don't really have to worry about Rudy, you know, popping out to the three-point line and making one from downtown. So, again, offensively, he's just been really bad. Now, I will say, defensively, I think Rudy is still a really good player. In fact, when we look at the on and off numbers, the opponent's offensive rating is 111.4 when he is on the floor. But when he's off the court, that offensive rating, the opponent's offensive rating goes up 7 points to 118.4. So, I will say, man, Rudy Gobert, he has had the impact you would want defensively, but when we look at their offense, again, he's just been a massive harm. I mean, when you look at the on and off numbers, the Wolves are 10 points better offensively when he's off the court. And when you look at the players that the Timberwolves gave up, I think they really regret this trade right now. I mean, Patrick Beverley, he was the heart and soul of that team, and his leadership was a big reason why many even made it to the postseason last year. Jared Vanderbilt, a really solid defensive player, and also really brings really good energy as well. Malik Beasley, pretty good spot-up shooter. Walker Kessler, circling back to him, I said before, he's been having a really good rookie season. In fact, he's been producing, you know, kind of similarly to Rudy Gobert this year. So, I mean, the Timberwolves honestly traded all of that, and one of the guys that they gave up is honestly close to Rudy Gobert's level. I mean, Walker Kessler, shout out to him. He's been having a phenomenal rookie campaign. I really gotta give it to him. And then we gotta mention the picks that they gave up again. I mean, they gave up like 4 or 5, I think, like 4 or 5 like unprotected first round picks plus some pick swaps. That's a lot of picks right there. And if Minnesota is ever like bad in the future, Well, I mean, it's going to be even worse for them, because even though they suck, it's not like they're going to be getting their picks because, well, Utah owns them, and, you know, it could end up like a 2010s Brooklyn Nets situation where they're really bad, but they don't get their picks because, another team owns them due to a horrible trade that they made, some time ago. So, again, this Rudy Gobert trade has not worked out really at all for the Minnesota Timberwolves. Now, that being said, I think it would be unfair to blame all of this on Rudy. I mean, there are other problems on the team. D'Angelo Russell. I gotta say, ever since his Nets days, D'Lo has really regressed. Now, I don't think he's, like, horrible. I think there are definitely good qualities about D'Lo, but at the same time, he has plenty of issues, that really hold back your team, and it really just holds back your ceiling with him, you know, being one of your best players, and really holds back your ceiling with him. Honestly, in my opinion, as your starting point guard, if you're trying to contend for a championship. I mean, first off, even though he is, like, not that bad offensively, I mean, he does have his problems on that side of the ball. I mean, his efficiency, even though it's not horrible, it's just okay, and you really wish that his efficiency would be a lot better. Not to mention, the guy is a ball-dominant player. He needs the ball in his hands if he wants to be effective offensively. And then we talk about his defense, which, I mean, it's awful to say the least. The guy's one of the worst defensive guards in the NBA. And, you know, anytime he's guarding a guy one-on-one, I mean, it makes you want to vomit. You know, point is, he is just a horrible defensive player. Now, I will say, he is a good team. He's not a bad team defender. In fact, his team defense and communication was a big reason why Minnesota's defense wasn't that bad last year. But individually, he's extremely bad. Now, Russell has expressed some dismay with Minnesota, and I do think a breakup could be imminent in the near future. And to be honest, I think it might be good for both sides. I mean, if Russell doesn't want to be in Minnesota, of course, you know, all power to him for going to a place where he really wants to be. And, you know, for Minnesota, although he is best buddies with D'Angelo Russell, with Karl Anthony Towns, I mean, your ceiling with him, honestly, as a starting point guard, is kind of limited. In my opinion, I just don't think he can be a starting point guard on a championship level team. And if he does want to contribute to a championship level team, I think it would be best if he honestly just came off the bench. That's just me, but I can't cap. I don't think the Wolves are going to be doing a whole lot this year. I mean, they're, in my opinion, just going to be like in the play-in. Maybe they make the playoffs, but I just don't have a whole lot of hope for them for how this year goes. And I also got to say, their future looks quite bleak. I mean, in hindsight, they really should not have traded for Rudy Gobert. I think everyone can agree with that. And maybe they'll find a way out of this mess. But again, it's just not looking good for them, and, you know, it really makes me sad to make this video. I really loved the Wolves story last year, and, you know, I was supporting them heading into this year. I was really hoping that they would take that next step from being just a playoff team to a legit threat in the Western Conference, but unfortunately, it just hasn't happened, and this trade just has not worked out. But again, maybe they'll find a way out of this, but with all of that being said, that'll do it for me. Thank you guys so much for watching. It really does mean a lot to me. Again, like, subscribe, do all of that stuff, and check me out on social media. The links to my Twitter and Instagram, they're in the description below. But without further ado, I'm out, you guys.